Looking for a reason, driven by the heart, fighting for...
G'day everyone and welcome again to the chat. As you know, I love speaking to everyone from the wider racing community. We're still in lockdown here in Melbourne, but the sun's coming out and that usually only means one thing. It's time for the Magic Millions. And today, joining me is one of the Gold Coast's newest trainers, Adam Campton. G'day Adam, how are you mate?
Good, thanks Benny. Good to be on the show, mate.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate you coming on. You've come a long way. You've recently been in Hong Kong, but now you're at the Gold Coast and you're starting to train.
Yes, mate. Originally from Sydney, obviously, and then just moved over to Hong Kong for 4 years, and now back home on Australian soil, but not obviously home. Gold Coast is now a home for us. We're loving it up here. It's beautiful weather, as everyone knows. It's a good lifestyle, but most importantly, it's home for the business as well, and it's been a great start to, we've only been going for a week and a half now, but we've loved every minute of it. And, the Gold Coast Turf Club's been great, so we're happy to be here.
And obviously very exciting plans for the Gold Coast with the new training facilities being built, track upgrades, and also the night racing too. Talking to Brett Cook, the chairman, and also Steve Wines, the CEO, they are genuinely excited about what could happen to the Gold Coast. It could almost probably be like Happy Valley eventually, maybe.
Yeah, for sure, mate. That was one of the reasons why we chose to come back here. Obviously, I'd never trained. The club was great to me. I hit them up, pretty early and sort of heard that they were going to have these kind of plans, and I thought it'd be good to be part of a club like this. They're growing, they're hungry. The one thing I like about them as well, they want to have a crack. It's an exciting place to be, and meeting all those guys like Steve and Cookie. Ian Brown's been great as well. They're a good team, and it was one of the main reasons why we chose to come back here, and I couldn't be happier. As I said, they've been great to not just me, my partner Taylor as well.
And just in terms of numbers with your stable at the moment, how many have you got? Are you looking to expand?
Yeah, of course, always looking to expand. I said something the other day, we're very grateful for the support we've been given so far, as the business is only young. We've got around 20, 25 horses at the moment, not obviously all in work, but, we're trying to get them in, get obviously a few of the trial horses, a few of the babies in at the moment. And, it's only a young team, but we're excited. We've got a few nice horses that have been at the track now for a week and a bit, and they're doing a great job. So always opportunities. I like talking to new people and meeting everyone, and, anyone that wants to call or get in contact, we'd love to have a chat and send them as much information as possible.
And how far away are you from having your first run, Adam?
Probably a couple of weeks now, mate. I was hoping maybe next week or the week after, but probably 2 to 3 weeks, and we should have one ready to go.
And we spoke about Hong Kong earlier. Can you tell me about your time in Hong Kong? I believe you were looking after the young members through the Jockey Club.
Yeah, looked after young members, did a bit of social media, did a bit of form, did a little bit of everything. I really enjoyed my time there. It was a place that I've always loved. I'd grown up as a young fella. My dad always spoke about it as he rode over there in the early 80s. So it was something that I always admired, and wanted to get back there one day. And fortunately enough, I got the opportunity to go back there 4 and a bit years ago now. And I'm so happy that I did it. It was something that I really, really enjoyed. I met some incredible people, made some great friends, and a lot of those people have had shares now in the horse, and they've been great to me. So the club was great to work for. It's a very professional club, so you're always learning off very smart people, and watching great jockeys and trainers go about their business. And I was very lucky. I got to learn a lot off some of the best trainers in the world, and it was definitely definitely a very big learning curve.
You say learning curve. So what kind of things did you learn in Hong Kong and brought them back to Australia? Probably a two-part question there, because it's also a bit of a different landscape over there with racing too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously it's not as big as Australia, we know that, but it's what they do with their team, and it's very well organised. I just think the structures they've got in place is something that we've adapted here. It's you've got to work together as a team, and you have to, you can't just go about it all yourself. You've got to have those people behind you to get you where you want to be. Obviously, the handicapping over there is a lot different to Australia, and they are very lucky. They get very good horse quality brought in from all overseas, but the trainers do a great job. It's a hard place for horses. It's very hot over there, and it's some horses they get through it, some don't. So it's one of those places. Some humans get through it, some don't as well. So it can be a bit like that. But I also learned a lot to be good to your clients. That was definitely one thing that the club does. They bend over backwards really for their members and their owners. And I really believe we do an okay job in Australia, but I think we can always do more. It's also little things like it's not hard to pick up your phone if someone rings. They're giving you they're taking time out of their day to give you a call. So, answer your phone always, be good to your clients and, be good to the people around you. It'll pay off in the long run.
Obviously, you're only just starting out in your career, but obviously placing horses is very important. And one part of that is reading form and doing form. And you would have done plenty of that when you also worked previously as a bookie at Unibet.
Yeah, definitely a bet choice at first when Colin Tidy and Mark Morrissey owned, and then it was bought out by Unibet. And I was very lucky. I learned a lot off Mark Morrissey. I sat with him, and I was a bit wet between the ears when I first got there. Thought I knew a lot about form, but I actually didn't. He got me in early, and he taught me plenty. Taught me to have a go and back yourself at all times, and also to place horses. And that was the prices and everything. He taught me so much about horse racing, and it's definitely something in my training career that I'll pride myself on. I want to place my horses right, and I look back now at Unibet and the people I met, and the things I learned is definitely something that I'm incredibly grateful for.
And you mentioned your dad rode in Hong Kong, but how much of an influence did your late grandfather in jockey Les Coles have on your decision to work in racing, or just generally your love of racing too?
Yeah, a lot, mate. As a young fellow, I wasn't 100% committed to racing, as it was something everyone did. So I wanted to go out playing footy and playing cricket. Realised I wasn't too good at either, so I sort of go down the racing route. And Dad was always really good. Mum was great. They said if it's in your blood, so it'll probably come around sooner rather than later, and it did. I fell in love with racing probably 12, 13 years of age, and I couldn't imagine doing anything now. But my grandfather, he's my idol. He still is, even though he's passed away. And he taught me not everything about racing, but he taught me a lot about, being a good person. And he was a humble man, and he was a gentleman, and someone that I definitely admired. And I can't wait to train a few winners. And I owe him plenty. He's someone that I will always cherish.
And you've worked in the membership space that we discussed, and more specifically looking after young members. What do you feel needs to be done to attract more younger people to racing? Because I've said this to quite a few of my guests, and you've probably seen some of my previous interviews where I ask, how do we get away from the perception that you just put a jacket and tie on or a frock and you go and get pissed? There's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and it's very tough, mate. It's kids these days, they can go down the shop and buy, a jersey of their favourite football or basketball or soccer player. There's nothing like that for horse racing, so it is very hard to attract the younger generation. But, it's one of those sports, if you do go to the races or something, you go with a friend, it gives you that buzz and you always want to go back. It's something that, Australia really needs to work on it. It's also, it's hard to just get people to race and then fall in love with it, and get so passionate about it. As, we're lucky, we love the game. But I think, it's expensive too to go to the races for young people. They don't always want to go there and get charged a fortune for a drink, which that's one thing I think needs to be fixed. And I just think they need to make it more enjoyable. There's plenty of ways to do that, but I suppose they pay the bigger people to get those sort of things sorted. But I think like a place like Magic Millions, I walked around here on Saturday, not we had a run, and I just went for a walk with the dog, and it was pumping up here. It's one of those places I don't think it really needs much, but it attracts people because it's such a good atmosphere and it's a good lifestyle up here. But, Melbourne, Sydney, even like the Everest has done an incredible thing for racing. It's attracted so many young people. So I think, changing the game, we can't always look in the past. We've got to look into the future, and that's the only way we're going to get new people involved.
And I think also, too, another thing that the industry does need to do more of is look at affordable ownership options too. I mean, we have My Racehorse coming into the market and some others, but they don't seem to get promoted with outside of the racing bubble. Like you turn on racing.com and My Racehorse ads on every second ad. But you turn on the normal TV and you don't exactly see ownership stuff being shown on TV, do you, for example?
No, exactly right. And that's where social media is so big now. We need to pump it in the right direction to try and get it out to a broader spectrum. It is tough when there's so many, as I said, young people that want to play footy and cricket and stuff like that. But horses like we've both got in the background here, like Winks and Golden 60s and, all those kind of horses, like, they attract people. You don't really need to do much for them. But I agree, the cost is one big thing. It's hard for young people to go to the race these days, and it's to go and buy a round of drinks for your mates. It's expensive. So I think that's one thing. It needs to drop their prices, and they can work out more deals to attract the younger people. It'd be the best thing they can do.
And you said you've got about 25 at the moment in your stables, and obviously the breeding season at the moment is happening, and then come in a couple of months it'll be January Magic Millions time, and then you'll come into the sales in Melbourne, Adelaide and Sydney and Tassie and Perth as well. So are you going to be looking to be active at the sales, more so probably in the Gold Coast, your local sale?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely here at the Gold Coast, but not just here. We'll be looking everywhere. Always having a look through the catalogues and trying to find what we can find. I'm lucky I've got a partner, Taylor, who's heavily involved in the business, and she's come from a very good horse background. She's, parents are involved in show jumping, and she's got a great eye. She's helped me with a lot of the horses that we've purchased, and looking at some of them now, I can understand why she has bought those horses. So we'll go around the sales, we'll see as many as we can, and we'll try and pick out the ones that's not going to cost us a fortune and try and get us some winners in the long run. But no, we're always actively looking. I love sitting there going through the catalogues and trying to find that next superstar.
And obviously having someone like Taylor, then it might mean you don't have to pay a commission to a bloodstock agent. That certainly would make things a bit easier for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, bloody oath. I'm lucky. I've got a few mates who are bloodstock agents, so they might hit me up for a few rates soon. But Taylor will be getting all the money. She does all that. So no, it's good. It's good being involved in a team, mate. That's the main thing, and that'll make that makes your business get to the top.
What kind of things, though? I'm sure Taylor probably does more of it than you. But when you go to the sales, what are you looking for someone who's uninitiated and hasn't been to the sales before?
I think one thing you definitely always got to try and find is a good sound horse. You got to take a punt, mate. It is a lot of luck at the end of the day. You can go and spend a fortune, or you can go and spend $500 on a horse. It is a lot of luck. But yeah, obviously looking at trying to buy nice type ones that are going to go early, and maybe some that are going to go a bit later. Fillies or colts. It's whatever catches your eye. But I just we go for the book, and obviously breeding is such a big part of it. And I love seeing you look back on some of those horses, some of the horses coming for the ranks now, and you see their mums and what they, some of those champion horses back in the day. It's if you can try and afford a few of them, you'll try and get them. But no, it's I like trying to find a good type, good sound horse, and a horse that's a good breather as well. It'll pay off in the long run. And
you look at affordable, Adam, you only just have to look at the winner of the Arc just on the weekend, for example. They got it for $50,000 at the Baden sale in Germany. Like, what an amazing story. You're up against the likes of a Godolphin and Coolmore, etc., and it just blew them away. What an amazing story. It just shows you don't have to invest much to find a nice horse.
That's exactly right. It's I love seeing those stories. Of course, I love seeing the likes of Godolphin and the big state Coolmore and the big state was winning, but it was also great to see some of those underdogs always winning and beating the bigger boys, especially prices of 100 to 1. I'm sure the owners probably got a lot of their money back and some for winning the prize money. But I love those kind of stories. It's takeovers, target stories. That's something I always remember as a young fella. I love seeing horses like that. It's I think if you look after the horse, they'll look after you in the long run. So you don't always have to go and spend the big money.
And how long have you wanted to be a trainer for? Obviously, because you've worked in race club, young membership, and in bookmaking.
It was when I was younger. As I said, I wasn't 100% wanted to, and then I went and worked for Darley for a bit. And I enjoyed it, but I was also doing hotel management. I was playing footy, and it was just tough. We're doing three different things. It was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It probably wasn't the best thing to be doing. So my mind was 100% into it. I think literally the last 8 to 10 years was something that's when I really, really fell in love with it, and it's a tough game. There's no doubt in that. I'm not putting any covering it over. It's going to be a hard run, but we're ready for it. We're excited, and I made a big decision coming home, and I'm really grateful that I did make that decision because I'm loving every minute of it.
And how supportive of your family been in your decision to come back and base yourself out of the Gold Coast from Hong Kong?
Yeah, mate, they've been great. I'm a very lucky person. I was brought up in a good family, and they've always been supportive of everything I want to do. Not just always with family, but your mates as well. They've always backed me as well. I'm a firm believer, and if you believe in something, go and chase it. You only live once, so a lot of people, they're going to knock me, but we've come home. We want to have a crack, and that's the main thing for it. Taylor's family has also been brilliant to us, and you need that. In this game, you need people supporting. If you don't have people supporting, it's pretty lonely. So, I'm incredibly grateful for my family and Taylor's family as well. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
And just lastly, Adam, what does Adam Campton like to do in his spare time away from racing?
Watching racing. I love racing. I love football. I support the Broncos who can have the best year. Obviously, I like to have a hit of golf every now and again. I'm not the best golfer. But having a drink with my mates. Pretty simple things. I haven't been fishing since I've been home, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But simple things in life, pretty cruisy.
Campton, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Benny. I appreciate your time, mate.
Thank you.